Yeah, there's a whole team here, of course. I'm just a figurehead. I'm just the one presenting today. So there's also other colleagues who can't be here today, but it's a great pleasure to share what we have done with the AURORA Energy Tracker mobile application. And it's even not just a mobile application, but also a web application, as you'll see in a minute. I think I've got 5 minutes, so I better hurry up. The app has already been fully operational now for way more than a year. It's been available for download since autumn 23. We have additionally developed what you can see here on the left-hand side as screenshots, an interactive dashboard. Sounds fancy and actually is quite interesting. That is the tool that allows both, first of all, our us as a project, if you want, but in the meantime, also the citizen scientists, to live the project as citizen science so that people can actually see their data, that they can get visualizations and comparisons as to their data. What does that mean? How does that translate into my carbon footprint? So that's the engagement of the users with the data. I think if you could go one slide back, I think I wasn't entirely finished, but I can see I'm requested to hurry up. We have additionally a monitoring of the photovoltaic installations that is already operational for the city of Aarhus, of the demo site in Denmark. The others, basically, we're waiting for that to happen while we speak, so that you can see not just is the sun shining today, but how much electricity has been generated by the installation that I, as a citizen, have potentially helped to co-fund. There are a couple of major updates. This is more the technicalities, and the last point is important. We have promised as a project and are implementing as we speak what we call a rule-based recommendation system, so that depending on what the energy behaviors individually are, that the system makes suggestions of how to make your energy behavior even more sustainable, how to improve it even further. Those rule-based recommendations are actually much more tricky than you might think. Technically, there's, if you want, some artificial intelligence involved. So we're working on it as we speak, but definitely going to also include it in the next update. Now, Joanna, thank you very much for clicking. I think that would be everything for this slide. This is who actually uses it. We had more than 2,000 downloads, of whom 1,800 user accounts have been created, of which 1,400 have at least entered one consumption. That we take that as an indicator, as the other 400 probably never really bothered using it. They just downloaded it. But it's almost 1,500 people in the meantime who regularly actually input data, which does take some time. This adds up to more than 115,000 consumptions as of today. A consumption is basically if you drive from A to B, if you put in your heating bill, if things like that. We have users obviously from the demonstration sites that are represented in this project, which I think are 5 if I haven't calculated wrongly, but additionally also a dozen other countries. And that includes, in the meantime, almost like every second country in Europe. If you could click, Joanna, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. The PV installations, major part of the project that we have installed on the rooftops, as you have already heard, and as you will hear further, PV installations into which the citizens are invited to invest. So they become a part and parcel of the local energy transition, if you want. Based on that, the installations on the roofs basically generate data, and that is solar radiation, I think even wind, velocity of the wind, and but obviously also how much energy has been generated, and that can then be calculated as to how much basically how much electricity could be produced with the share that I have invested in for the installation on the roof of the university around the corner. So that makes energy transition also very tangible, very people actually feel connected to it. You can see here, fourth bullet points. What's available in the app will be, like you can see the total, the monthly, daily projection. There's so-called metadata about the installation with the instructions, so you can see which type of solar cell it is, and the angle of the cell. I think it's all like technicalities for whoever is interested to dive as deeply into that. Then again, there's also a science education element in this, I suppose, to convey this is a complex topic, and of course, we also want to take everyone on board and be fully transparent as to the technologies being implemented. There's direct data export if you want to share the results of your local energy production site, and more installations will be added to become online as we speak. Thank you very much. So that's just a screenshot of the monitoring. I think that's ours again, isn't it? Yes. So that would be because the others are only in test mode. But as you can see, it's basically on a daily basis. You can see when the sun was shining and whatnot. And you can see on the right-hand side also the specifications, but that's probably too much detail for the time being. But as you can see, there's full transparency for every citizen to know exactly what's going on and what's happening to the investment that they've made. Joanna? Thank you. The investments then translate into a carbon offset, second bullet point here. So the you can see how that translates into the carbon footprint of yourself, and that, as you may be aware, the AURORA project is applying a so-called labeling system, where depending on how good your carbon footprint is, you end up in a different label, and then you can see how the carbon offset actually improves or doesn't your energy label. The offsets are automatically calculated, so nobody has to do that manually. For data management purposes, this happens once a week, and the investments then can be edited, they can be deleted, and then they automatically basically adjust corresponding offset to the next refreshing cycle of the application. So people don't have to worry about calculating their footprint, but all they need to do is make sure that their investment is up to date, and the rest is entirely done by the system. It's fully implemented in what we call the web app. That's basically a browser page. If you open your web browser, then you can you don't even need a smartphone, which apparently is an issue for elderly users or for users who have maybe limited resources, that they actually don't tend to use smartphones, but they prefer to use browsers. Yeah. Next slide, please. Again, the investments, here you have also the investment function in the app, where you can enter your shares and the investment date that basically, of course, is also calculates back how long has that been, just for a week or for a month or for a year. Next slide, please. I think we're almost done. I mean, I have a couple of backup, but I guess we don't do anyone a favor if I go over time. The investment feature is being released as we speak. We have both the Mac, the iOS operating system, and the Android operating system, basically for Google phones and so on. For both, that's happening as we speak. It's already available in this browser-based web app, which we kind of also use as a test bed. We weren't required to develop that, I think, but I think it has proven to be a very good decision to do that, to offer that as an additional entry point. And for us, it gives us the opportunity to basically have a local test bed before we roll it out over the app stores, as they're called, where there are tons of regulations and requirements as to what you have to fulfill before you can update anything. You have to go through internal screening and compliance processes and so on. The person's recommendations are coming. That's part and parcel of the roadmap. That's going to be probably the most exciting final step in developing this app, that you get personalized recommendations as to how, based on your personal energy behavior, you can change it, whether you're encouraged to maybe change an energy provider or to change means of transport, or that the system actually tells you how the data you've entered actually processes it, and so on. How it compares also to people maybe in the same region or in other regions. And users will receive personalized notifications on how to improve the energy behavior, I suppose, by the middle of the summer would be my estimate. Like, hopefully June would be an ambitious estimate. This is a sneak peek, as they call it, I think, in the cinema for the recommendations. This is, I think it's Danish. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess it is. They would know. Yeah, So basically, but it would take now quite a long time to explain how the system works, and that is basically, but yeah, I'm just shaking your head, so probably not now. Next slide, please. I think that was even it. Yeah, and please don't hesitate if you haven't already downloaded the app, then you have the choice between the Android or the iOS version, or just use what we call the dashboard, the web application for which you don't even need a phone, if that is a thing. And yeah, thank you very much so far. I'm here, looking very much forward to our discussion later about the project and about